The other document that Herman referred to was the Reasons for Hope report. And this pulls together the results of an opinion poll that we conducted. It was actually conducted at the end of 2018, but we did a subsequent one at the end of 2019, which showed much the same results. And we asked people, what are your key priorities? What are the two things you'd like to see government tackle? What do you think are the unresolved problems in the country? And it was a completely open question. People weren't guided in any way as to what they could choose. And it was striking that the great majority of people, and particularly Black respondents, identified unemployment as their key concern, the thing that they really need government to tackle. There was also a great deal of concern about education, about living conditions, about crime, about corruption. And these, of course, speak to the felt concerns of so many millions of people right across the country. Land reform featured at about 1 or 2% of Black respondents saying that this is something that the government should focus on. And there's also really not much enthusiasm for either BEE or employment equity when you ask people to comment on those as options to help them get ahead. What is also interesting is that we ask people, for example, whether they would support a party that promised massive land redistribution to provide redress for the past, or one which really focused on increasing growth and jobs. And the huge majority, it was about 80%, opted for the growth and jobs, and again, relatively few for the massive land redistribution. And what that opinion polling shows is that there is actually a majority of moderate opinion in the country. We have a government whose ideology pushes it towards ever greater radicalism, and we have ordinary South Africans who want growth, jobs, education, an end to crime and corruption, a way of getting ahead that is feasible and practical. And if you look at the budget and what Tito Mboweni said, I think there's very little that's really going to give us growth, jobs, or better education, but we can come to that in good time. The one comment he made, perhaps that would be hopeful to ordinary people, was that he talked about the need to increase confidence. He said that we have to have increased confidence not only among investors, but also among ordinary people, among the people who need jobs, and among the businesses that have been so hard hit by the lockdown, and he said among the farmers and the farm workers who produce our food. And this at least was a comment that gels with the views of ordinary South Africans. But so much of the rest of what he said was disappointing because there is no indication of a real commitment to growth or any indication of how we're going to get there.